Welcome to German History with a German accent. My name is Wolf, W-O-L-F, just like the animal, and in today's video I'm speaking about Erich Ludendorff. As always, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and drop me a comment below. Erich Friedrich Wilhelm Ludendorff was born on April 9th in the year 1865 in the village of Saxonia in the Prussian province Posen, a son of Wilhelm and Clara Ludendorff. Although his father was not noble, he had reached Junker status due to his acquired wealth as a merchant. Wilhelm Ludendorff also served as a cavalry officer during the German Unification Wars and the Austro-Prussian War in 1866, as well as the Franco-Prussian War in 1870-71. It was also him who made his son Erich become an officer. Once Erich Ludendorff graduated school, he joined the Prussian army in 1882 after being a cadet in the Cadet Corps in Plön as well as Großlichterfelde. Before Ludendorff attended the War Academy in Berlin in the year 1890, he also served in a sea battalion in the German Imperial Navy. While undergoing General Staff Service training at the War Academy, Ludendorff's interest in Russia and the Russian language led to a 3-month visit in St. Petersburg as well as Moscow. Upon his return, he was named staff officer in the Greater General Staff. After several staff postings in divisions and army corps, Erich Ludendorff also taught tactics and war history at the War Academy in Berlin. After he returned to the Greater General Staff, Ludendorff led the Department No. 2 in the Greater General Staff, where he played an important role as aide to the Chief of Staff, Helmut von Moltke the Younger, in making changes in the Schlieffenplan. Check out the video I made about Alfred Schlieffen by clicking the link in the top right of this video. By the year 1912, Erich Ludendorff became the regiment commander of the Füsilier-Regiment No. 39 in Düsseldorf, ranked as an Oberst. By the beginning of the First World War, Erich Ludendorff became the Oberquartiermeister in the Second Army, with whom he participated in the conquest of the city Lüttich in the neutral state of Belgium. For his achievements, he commanded the 14th Infantry Brigade after its commander had fallen. Ludendorff received the Pour le Mérite as second soldier in the First World War in August 1914. In the same month, Erich Ludendorff was surprisingly transferred to the Eastern Theater as Chief of Staff of the 8th Army under Paul von Hindenburg. In his role, Erich Ludendorff played a key role in the successful Battle of Tannenberg, where the German 8th Army was able to encircle most of the attacking 2nd Russian Army, causing about 30,000 fallen Russian soldiers and taking about 90,000 Russian soldiers as prisoners of war. As well as the First Battle of the Masurian Lakes, where the 1st and 10th Russian armies were pushed out of East Prussia. In December 1914, after the Battle of Lodz, Erich Ludendorff was promoted to the rank of Generalleutnant. In the following year, until the Battle of Verdun in the year 1916, Erich Ludendorff and Paul von Hindenburg, by now Generalfeldmarschall, repeatedly clashed with the chief of the German General Staff, Erich von Falkenhayn. I also made a video about him, also linked in the top right of this video. Von Hindenburg and Ludendorff kept asking for stronger forces to run bigger encirclement operations against Russia, which von Falkenhayn denied. After Ludendorff, with the support of Helmut von Moltke the Younger, tried to have von Falkenhayn replaced as Chief of Staff, the latter retaliated by transferring Ludendorff away from von Hindenburg. But an intervention of the German Emperor reversed this decision. After the German strategy in the Battle of Verdun failed and Romania also joined the war against the Central Powers, Erich von Falkenhayn stepped down from his position and Paul von Hindenburg replaced him. Ludendorff, now holding the rank of General der Infanterie, became von Hindenburg's deputy. Together, they replaced the Greater General Staff with the Oberste Heeresleitung, OHL or OHL. While Paul von Hindenburg became the man for the public relations, it was Erich Ludendorff whom took over the military powers in the German Empire. With this restructuring, von Hindenburg and Ludendorff basically established a military dictatorship for the remaining time of the First World War. In his role, Erich Ludendorff was in favor of forced labor and deportation of the population in occupied territories, and also pushed for the continuation of the unrestricted submarine warfare, although it meant the entry of the United States in the First World War. In the final year of the First World War, Erich Ludendorff launched the German Spring Offensive after Russia had made a peace agreement with the German Empire in 1917. German troops were able to break through the Allied lines, but after a few months, this offensive was stopped, and the initiative on the battlefield went finally over to the Allies when American troops arrived on the battlefield. In late September 1918, Erich Ludendorff conferred with the German Emperor in Belgium and was seeking for a ceasefire agreement with the Allies. By the end of October 1918, the German Emperor fired Erich Ludendorff, but kept on Paul von Hindenburg, which led to a breach between them. By the end of the war, the dismissed general fled Germany under a false name and spent some time in Sweden before he was asked to leave the country in early 1919, and he returned back to Germany. After the First World War, Erich Ludendorff spread the stab-in-the-back theory, where he tried to blame the German defeat onto the German politicians, especially the Social Democrats, whom had stabbed the yet on the battlefield undefeated army in the back. Yet Erich Ludendorff, when asking for the ceasefire agreement in September 1918, knew that the front lines could have collapsed at any time. In the 1920s, Erich Ludendorff participated in the Kapp-Lüttwitz-Putsch in 1920, as well as in the Beer Hall Putsch in 1923, where Erich Ludendorff was to lead the march onto Berlin. After its failure, Ludendorff was put on trial, but due to his war achievements, he was let go. During this time in the Weimar Republic, the justice system was said to be blind for national or radical crimes, or at least hardly penalize it. Erich Ludendorff's relationship to Adolf Hitler was troubled from the beginning. When they initially met, the general didn't show much interest in the Gefreite of the First World War. And prior to the Beer Hall Putsch, they came cautiously closer together, but especially after said putsch, Ludendorff called Hitler a deserter. Erich Ludendorff became a member of the Reichstag in the Nationalsozialistische Freiheitspartei, the National Socialist Freedom Party. During the 1925 Reichspräsidentenwahl, the election for the German Reichspräsident, Erich Ludendorff participated but only got about 1% of the votes, and ultimately, in multiple election rounds, Paul von Hindenburg became the new Reichspräsident. This marked the end of Ludendorff's leading role as politician for the National Radical Forces. By the year 1928, Erich Ludendorff left politics and began publishing books and newspapers in which he blamed Christianity, Jews, and Freemasons for Germany's and the world's problems. Even after the Nazis took over power in the year 1933, Erich Ludendorff, together with his wife, kept attacking them openly, which resulted in retaliation acts. Ludendorff even telegraphed Paul von Hindenburg, telling him that the future generations would curse him for making Hitler the Reichschancellor. But after windows of his businesses were smashed and meetings were broken off by Nazi troops, Ludendorff's tone changed. He was still celebrated as a war hero by the National Socialist propaganda, especially after Paul von Hindenburg's death. Ludendorff refused Hitler's offer to promote him to the rank of Generalfeldmarschall with the reasoning that he didn't want to be promoted to this rank by a Gefreiter. The two men met in the year 1937 for a conversation. On December 20th, in the same year, Erich Ludendorff died due to liver cancer in Munich. He died at the age of 72. Against his will, and the will of his family, the National Socialists gave him a massively celebrated state funeral. Thank you so much for watching.